Good evening. The time is 6 o'clock. This is the November 20th meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Our first order of business tonight is to review the cases in work session. We'll reconvene into the general regular session at 6:30. So until then, see you shortly. Okay, are we good to go? Yeah. Cammie, are we good to go?
No.
All right, guys. All righty, so item 2 on the agenda is our work session. We'll start with the roll call this evening. Chair of the Commission, Edmund Haas, will do the roll call here. Commission members, Vice Chair Sue Blankenship.
Present.
Ed Marr.
Present.
John Dobmeyer.
Oh, look, see if he said it right.
So, maybe not here yet. Cindy Bishop
Still here.
is still here. Okay, and Kent Halfman.
Hafman, yes, sir.
Hafman.
Still here.
Wow. Hey, hey.
Yeah, just long hay, sir.
All right. Hey.
Hey.
All right. So, Matt, can you introduce staff and then review the cases?
Thank you, Chairman Haas. Tonight's staff members include myself, Matt Steer, Development Services Administrator, Cole Baker, Graduate Engineer, Aaron Tainter, Assistant Director of Public Works, Louis Rahil, Assistant Director of Community Development, Jackie Nevens, Senior Administrative Assistant, and Cammie McGee, our Board Secretary. Nivens, excuse me. Jackie Nivens, Senior Administrative Assistant. So, if you'd like, I could present the case.
Yes, please.
Okay, so for the first case we're going to have tonight is the batch plant case. We would just refer to it as a batch plant SUP. One of the handouts is a comprehensive master plan. It's got the first attachment, or the first sheet is urban residential neighborhood, and then the last couple of sheets is industrial special district, right? So that's what's going to refer to this case, this comp plan amendment. So currently in the 2030 comprehensive master plan, the batch plant sits on what we're calling urban residential neighborhood in our future land use plan, right? That's what we want to see the property develop as. And so the last couple of sheets relates to the industrial special district, is what they're asking it to be changed to in our plan. So basically that's, an industrial district. We don't feel that changing it to an industrial special district is warranted. So from day one, they came in and asked for a batch plant. I said, we will not support this, and they're going to do some work in Carrollton and Farmers Branch and Dallas. They didn't mention any work in Coppell, and then they were like, well, how long would you approve a batch plant for? And I said, well, over 6 months it requires a special use permit be obtained. So I tried to drill down, how long are you asking for? And they said, however long we can get one approved for is basically their request. So in order to meet the legal requirements, we posted it as a permanent batch plan. So if they come back and say, no, we'll only do it for 9 months, that's not technically the request. But you could restrict it based on time. I would not advise that you approve a batch plant of any duration. So, but I can go through more details of that case if you'd like, or we can move on to the next one.
So as a batch plan, I sense a lot of, there's a term for light, dust.
High intensity use?
Well, there's a term
pollution.
for it, the inconvenience term. What's that called?
Like
Nuisance.
Yeah.
To the area residents, plus the prevailing south winds are going to push that stuff north. Yeah, so
exactly.
I would have a concern with
Yeah.
dust and noise.
And you guys do have discretion. This is a special use permit, so you can deny it based on you don't think the use is appropriate. And I'd advise that when you're at the dais, less is more, so you don't want to over-explain your
So
rationale.
there's a rock facility right next to it, correct?
Well, there is one right next to it, and it looked like they were storing rocks on this side as well, so.
Yeah, there's storage sites, I don't think they're mining activities on this.
No.
Yeah, I think it's where you can
Yeah,
buy
it's just-
like loose stone.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So in terms of and, I'm not as educated in terms of the operation of a batch plant, but where I thought you were going with it is, you seem like you have a strong conviction about denying it. Like what is behind that? Is it sort of what Chairman
Yes.
Haas is saying is sort of the quiet enjoyment of the surrounding properties and neighbors and that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's an industrial use, and they generally have a lot of dust, because they're mixing the gravel and the sand, and that activity, and then batching up the concrete to put in the trucks, and another thing that happens.
And that's typically open air, not
Yes,
contained?
yeah, it has to
Okay.
be, and so they have some TEQ regulations,
Yeah.
TEQ regulations regarding dust and emissions and all that kind of, because there is gases
You also have to get a
and
permit from
things that are-
TCQ.
they have to get that.
Yeah,
Or
this
that's
is a
like-
super
and-
high-intensity type of land use that, even within our most intense zoning district, still requires a special use permit. So, that speaks to the intensity. You got truck traffic coming in
Your
and out.
operation hours can get weird too, especially in the summer, because a lot of times they like to batch up the concrete during dark hours, so it can get to the site. So we have a lot of issues with regard to operational noise with the trucks themselves being there, plus the stress they put in. I don't know if you've ever been on Luna Road,
Yeah.
what's left of it.
You gotta hold
Yeah,
on for
badge
days
plants.
to get through down
Yeah,
that road.
badge plant really chews up the road too,
And-
so that.
Yeah, that is a real problem with the weight of the trucks on the roads, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And I
So
think, I
did you-
think I read in your material, it's less than 1,000 feet to the nearest residential?
Yeah, so it's about 1,000 feet to the next apartment complex.
Yeah, I
to
think
the west.
TCQ requires a minimum of 800
Okay,
Oh, that's
for
the
their
minimum.
permit.
yeah, and just the property to the north, it actually abuts the golf course property.
Yeah. So, I don't want to digress from the case at hand, but what do we realistically see on this site here? We're adjacent to the railroad track. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, like an extension of the urban residential neighborhood is what the comprehensive master plan calls for.
And so the access would be some kind of connector road that then gets you over there by the Yucatan or something?
Well, that's what currently they have, a 20-foot access easement. Now, Fire is requesting 24-foot paved concrete fire lane and mutual access. Right now, they don't have frontage on a public road. They've been selling the property illegally without platting it. So it's one of those situations that any sort of development on this property would need to clean up that access issue. So they come through the subdivision, the platting requirements, and then get a variance to the public road frontage and show us how they're gonna access a public road. So ultimately,
It's
that's
hard
what
to
we would
envision
like.
anything there other than what's there now, because it's been there for so long. It's been there as
Right,
long as I've been
right.
out here,
Yeah,
Johnny.
and there is the surrounding properties, there's another concrete batch plant two doors down. So,
Yeah,
if we're ever to see this property redeveloped, approving a batch plant's the last thing that we wanna do, because those don't ever go away.
The existing batch plant, did that come through the city or is that,
I'm not sure, on a couple of doors down.
Grandfather, it's been out there as long as I remember.
yeah, as long as I can remember as well, but
And Johnny was leasing, and he and his partner leased that problem.
So it's
Johnny
a
Thompson?
non-conforming
Yeah,
use.
the late Johnny Thompson.
I'm not
It's been-
sure on the
It's been
adjacent
a
property.
problem forever.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
so,
got a
so I can do that research, but that's not part of this.
Yeah.
no,
zoning
no, I was
request,
just
so.
Okay.
curious because
That might be why they picked the property, who knows?
Right,
Okay, so that is a batch plant right next to it.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I didn't, wasn't
And
sure
just-
that was
yeah.
how it was defined.
It's
Just,
a non-conforming.
I don't know if
Okay,
this is on
next.
track or not, but just real quick, so
Non-conforming?
So when's the next master plan gonna come out?
Okay, so we're writing the RFP,
Right.
and we're gonna send that out by the end of the year.
Okay,
And so that'll be a 18-month
yeah,
process.
so it's
from-
possible this might change later, not that we
Right.
need a concrete batch plant there, but this might
Right,
become something
yeah,
else.
it'll be reanalyzed with the update to the comp plan.
Okay,
Where would be the consideration, and this is probably like outside the scope that we consider, but like we were mentioning earlier, the wear and tear on the roads, is that something that the ultimate city council would consider as when they're considering a use and so forth?
Yeah, roadway impact fees, for
Yeah,
sure.
Oh, right, okay.
impact fees, and then there's also
But that's how. it would be
some thought
covered.
that cities are gonna have to start, quote, taxing, if you will, by requiring, if you have heavy equipment, that you pay some kind, and we can charge a franchise fee. And they're supposed to offset for the use of the roadway.
Okay.
Through either a franchise fee
Yeah.
or a road impact.
Right, but they
I wanna
wouldn't-
call it a tax. but
They don't have to pull a building permit on a batch plant, and so that you would never collect a roadway impact fee.
Well, it's not like an impact fee, it'd be if you have heavy equipment of certain volume and size,
Yeah.
then they would have to get a franchise because they're using
And
a
who would do-
road
who would do
at our
that?
at the taxpayer's expense to make money.
And who, like, what would we do, what body would do that, or
Council.
council would do that? Okay,
Under charter, the franchise is given by
got it.
All right,
Okay.
the council.
next case, we okay with this one? Next case is the Natera case. It's Plan Development 221R4R, Light Industrial. They're asking for a rezoning to allow for a large office warehouse on this property. And we're opposed to it. They are proposing to amend the land use plan, just like the previous case, to industrial special district. Right now, it's freeway commercial, so in the handout, you can see on the third page is freeway special district. That's what it is today in the comp plan. And then the last two pages is what they're proposing to change it to. But basically, the current uses that would be permitted on the property include hotels, multi-story office buildings, medium to large-scale regional commercial uses, restaurants, and other uses dependent upon high volumes of vehicular traffic.
Wouldn't this be considered a medium-story office building?
No, it's a warehouse. It is a medium-story, or it's a two-story office building, but with a distribution component. So it's an office warehouse.
Yeah, but it says, office developments dependent upon good transportation access to the highway interchanges and frontage.
Right.
roads.
Yeah, this
So-
is talking about multi-story, like mid-rise office buildings, professional offices. And so this does have an office component to it, but it is also a distribution center.
Right.
So the goal is an integrated set of land uses between commercial, some retail, maybe some supporting residential, hotel.
Well, no residential
Okay.
within there, but yeah, like a hotel where you'd have, people staying. But yeah, the industrial special district is more compatible with what they're proposing to use it as. They're disguising their distribution center with their headquarters. It is gonna have 200 employees, the large office component, but then the majority of the building is the warehouse. So it's gonna be back up to Point West Boulevard.
They have a facility in town, right?
Yeah, so I'll go through how they're gonna consolidate and shift their employees around to this facility. We did send out notices to surrounding property owners, and we did receive 3 letters from the ownership that were in favor of the request. One's by the adjacent hotel, the Homewood Suites in Hilton Garden, and one's from the current property owner, Coppell Commercial, and then we got one from the Point West Property Owners Association, which I included in your packet, and they're in favor of changing it to office warehouse as well. We also got 5 letters from current employees, basically saying that they want to remain in Coppell. And so I think it's more for convenience. But I'll let you guys read through those.
So I see a comment here on one of the letters that the sites remained undeveloped for over 2 decades due to limitations imposed by the current HC zoning.
Which one are you looking at?
This is from Hilton.
Okay, yeah.
So what, have we had anyone kicking the tires on that site for?
We've had, over the past 20 years, a bunch of people come in and ask to convert it to office warehouse. And our response since 2011 has always been, no, I'm sorry, the future land use plan calls for a freeway special district. That's what we want to see there. And we've already given up, there was a much larger acreage which we allowed them to divide off north of Dividend Drive to allow for the light industrial office warehouse uses. Anything south of Dividend, we were keeping freeway special district type uses. So that's part of my rationale for denial. Any questions on this case?
Like how much of what's in the highway commercial district today in that area is compliant?
So the property to the east of Point West Boulevard, all of that has been compliant with the highway commercial district, and then east of South Beltline, the Victory project, that is compliant with the highway commercial district. So yeah, on this property, this is the remaining triangle piece that hasn't been developed. So, I'll walk through what is compliant on the first slide.
Okay, that's good.
This is a really difficult case because they have really dressed up the building, it looks really nice. So they've made every effort to make it look like it fits in. It's just not the use envisioned in the 2030 master plan.
Which was, remind me when that came out?
2011.
Okay, thanks. So we're not legally obligated to follow the master
You have
plan.
to change,
You have to change.
you have to
Change
change
the
the
maps.
comp plan. If you don't, then it's spot zoning. If the zoning doesn't match the comp plan, at least it's indicia of spot zoning.
Which is,
Putting a
Not
on a
illegal,
land use,
but
yeah.
not-
Well, it's
Oh,
illegal.
yeah,
is it
You can-
illegal
yeah,
in
yes.
Coppell?
Well, it's
Across the
illegal
state.
anywhere. It's
In Houston?
There's
Houston.
case law to support that when you put a use, like putting a factory in the middle of a residential district, that's kind of absurd.
Right,
Uh,
right. So why is this before us? Because it sounds like our hands are tied.
No, you can amend the comp plan to change the comp
Okay.
plan, and then put the zoning that matches the new change in the comp
Okay.
plan.
And
You have to do
that's
both.
part of the,
That's part of the
This-
application.
what
The
we're,
thing,
yeah,
right,
the application.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So there's two
Gotcha.
things you look at, is should we change the comp plan, because if the answer is no, then you really, the zoning kind of falls. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, Mr. Chairman, if you'd like, I can go through the council update.
Yeah.
All right. So at the last council meeting, the Carrollton Farmers Ranch Ag Barn was approved, and the STR was repealed for the one on Turnberry. And those ordinances will go to the city council on December 9th. And so will these cases if, say, they're denied and appealed, or if they're recommended for approval. So if you do deny the cases tonight, they will require a supermajority vote at city council, which is 6 out of 7. So,
it's for the zoning, I don't know if that's true for the comp.
for the zoning, yep.
if they're bifurcated.
Right. I like that word.
Okay. Any other questions, Commissioner? Okay. It's 6:20. I'll adjourn the work session, and we'll convene at 6:30. All righty, the time is 6:30, and the Planning and Zoning Commission is returning into general session. Our first order of business is citizens' appearance. Cammie, did anybody sign up? Okay, we'll move on to item 5 on the agenda, and that is the meeting minutes of our October 16th meeting. Any discussion by the commission, or is there a motion by the commission?
Chairman, I'll move to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Bishop. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Blankenship. Cammie, would you call the roll, please?
Please respond by saying aye or nay. So I call your name. Vice Chair Blankenship.
Aye.
Chairman Haas.
Aye.
Commissioner Maurer.
Abstain.
Commissioner Haveman.
Aye.
And Commissioner Bishop.
Aye.
All approved, none opposed, motion carries.
Okay, item 6 on the agenda is a public hearing. This is to consider approval of a special use permit, number 1270, light industrial, that's S-1270-LI, an industrial special district land use plan amendment, a special use permit request for a concrete batch plant, and a land use amendment from urban residential neighborhood to urban special district on 4.47 of acres of property located on the north side of East Beltline Road, north of the DART right-of-way, approximately 1,200 feet west of the city limit line, at the request of Phil Flink of Estrada Ready Mix Concrete. We have a staff presentation by Mr. Matt Steer. Matt?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, good evening. This is item number 6 this evening. So in 2011, this property was shown in the 2030 comprehensive or Coppell Comprehensive Master Plan as urban residential neighborhood. That's the most history I could find for the particular piece of property. This is a special use permit request for a concrete batch plant on 4.47 acres of property. SUPs are required for a batch plant that's planned to operate more than 6 months, which is what is being requested. And staff asked the applicant for a specific length of time that was being requested with this application, and was advised that the length of time was dependent on however long they could get one approved. The light industrial zoning district is the highest as it relates to the intensity of land uses allowed in Coppell. Even within that district, one more layer of protection, the special use permit, gives council more discretion on whether to allow the greater intensity types of uses. As proposed, a site plan, tree survey, landscape plan, and elevations would comply with the zoning ordinance required if the use were allowed by right. However, the property does not comply with the subdivision ordinance, which requires all properties to have public road frontage. It appears the property's been bought and sold without being platted, which should not have ever happened. And prior to any permit being issued for this property, a plat will be required and the access needs to be sorted out. There's also a large Lone Star gas easement in the front of the property, abutting the DART right-of-way, and then a 20-foot TRA easement providing the sewer service to this property. So here are the elevations of the proposed office building and water tank. Here's the office building, here's the water tank, and the storage walls for the materials on site. Here are the elevations of the batch plant and the silos. Currently, this is shown in the 2030 Comprehensive Master Plan as urban residential neighborhood. The purpose of this district is to provide areas for a wide variety of higher density residential uses, which is typically greater than 4 acres, or 4 dwelling units per acre, that serve the needs of residents seeking alternatives to low and medium density single-family detached housing. These areas may serve the needs of first-time homeowners, empty nesters, and other residents seeking to downsize. Typically, these areas provide owner-occupied housing stock for smaller households with or without children. New developments within these areas should have a substantial component of owner-occupied housing units, but also may include a mix of well-integrated owner-occupied and rental properties. New developments consisting of only rental housing communities are not appropriate. The uses compatible within this land use category are townhomes, apartment condominium buildings, small lot, single-family attached and detached dwellings, and small-scale commercial uses that serve the residents of the neighborhood. This category is also appropriate for planned public and semi-public uses designed to be compatible with residential uses such as schools, religious institutions, and civic uses. However, such uses should be permitted and encouraged only to the degree that the scale, specific location, and design does not significantly impact or impair the residential character of the area. They're wanting to change that to industrial special district in the 2030 comprehensive master plan. The purpose of this district, of their proposed district, is to provide areas for employment and light industrial activities typically dependent upon good transportation access to highways, rail lines, and or airports. The uses within this category include medium to large-scale warehousing, light manufacturing, wholesale storage and distribution, showrooms, office warehouses, research and development, technology centers, and ancillary retail service and restaurant uses that serve the employees within the district. We sent out 4 notices within 200 feet, 5 courtesy notices within 800 feet, but received no responses either in favor or opposition. Staff is recommending denial, or is recommending the SUP and the proposed future land use plan amendment from urban residential neighborhood to industrial special district be denied. This is based on the high intensity of the use and the fact that it does not match the 2030 Coppell Comprehensive Master Plan that calls for redevelopment of the area to urban residential neighborhood. The River Chase Golf Course directly abuts the site, and the Oaks at River Chase Apartments are within 1,000 feet. Seeing this property and the surrounding properties be redeveloped with uses allowed within the urban residential neighborhood was the vision that was established in the Coppell Comprehensive Master Plan. This proposal does not match that vision. So if the commission does recommend approval, the following conditions are recommended. The property be platted and waiver to the public road frontage requirement of the subdivision ordinance be obtained. A 24-foot fire lane mutual access easement be obtained and constructed across the neighboring properties, giving proper access to a public road. Complete construction plans have not been reviewed. Detailed engineering review to occur at the time of engineering permit submittal. The proposed water line, which has not been reviewed in detail and may or may not be feasible. At a minimum, the east-west water line north of the railroad tracks will need to be located outside of the railroad right-of-way, and the water lines crossing the railroad must be encasing pipe the full width of the railroad right-of-way. The northern fire hydrant exceeds 150-foot dead end, and the private domestic water system, as shown, would only require 1 point of connection to the proposed public water system loop, with 1 meter adjacent to the proposed public line. Loop system is only required for fire service. That concludes my presentation. I know the applicants in the audience. They might
Okay.
also.
Thank
I'd be
you.
happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Any questions of staff by the commission? Okay. Matt, on this particular site, has there been other applications for any kind of improvements on this site?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. If there's no other questions by the commission, Ed?
Yes, Matt, in terms of the rail line, would this access the rail line in any form?
To cross it.
It directly abuts the rail line, but there's no direct access to the actual rail itself.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, is the applicant here, Mr. Flink?
I am.
If we could get your name and address for the record,
Yes, sir.
and then your presentation.
For the record, my name is Phil Flink. I serve as the Executive Vice President of the Strata Companies. I am the applicant. I'm here tonight to respectfully request a continuance of this matter due to not having certain specific information in line with my consultant related to the case in general. There's no issues with if it improved the items that would need to be satisfied, but in order to properly address your questions tonight, I'm requesting a continuance.
Okay, if I could ask, what kind of information or additional information would you bring forward?
There was a misunderstanding in relation to the master plan as it relates to the current zoning, how it applies to the use. I would like some time to get back with my consultant and properly come back in front of you and address that matter, with staff first and then with you.
So it's my understanding that you've met with staff on several occasions regarding the proposed site?
My consultants have on my behalf.
Oh, gotcha.
I was not able to make the DRC. I had a family emergency, unfortunately, or else I would have been in attendance.
Okay. Mr. Hagan?
Yeah, if the commission does grant the continuance, it has to be to a date certain if you want to entertain it. And of course, it's your discretion on how you handle this matter.
Okay, very good. And to the applicant, you want to continue it to what date?
The very next the session was, is it 30 days? Is it December?
So December 20th? Are we going to be meeting then?
Yes, we will
Okay.
be meeting in December. Let's see here. December 18th.
So December 18th? Okay. Any concerns by staff with regards to the continuation?
Our recommendation will still be for denial based on the land use.
Okay. Are there any questions of the commission to the applicant? Ed?
Yes, so similar to what Chairman Haas was asking, in terms of, so it sounds like you would come back with a perspective on the land use and how potentially it would fit the current land use. Could you talk a little bit more about how, how you're thinking about it, or your consultants thinking about the new information that you
I think
come
we
back
would
with?
properly address the overall master plan along with its current defined future use, along with some timing components to the duration. I think one of the items that came up on the application which weren't properly communicated, and that's on me, not my consultants, the amount of time we're requesting, as much time as you'll give us is not the right response to that. We feel that there is a shorter window that has a clear and definitive path that doesn't ultimately affect the city's vision, but in a shorter time frame, closer to maybe 60 months or less, that we could set up our operation, properly comply, because we feel at that point it'd be the highest and best use for the property. And at the end of the day, there's a sunset clause in the SUP, which would allow it to stay consistent with what y'all's vision is. We respect that. We're businessmen. We've evaluated the area, and we thought this would be a very good use in the interim, medium to short term, to be able to clearly define some of that more in detail, properly.
I'm sorry, sir, how many months was that?
Not an indefinite amount of time, because that wasn't the correct response, but we feel up to 60 months. We can be somewhat flexible, obviously, with y'all's consent and City Council's consent, in that it's going to take us about 6 months, 8 months to get set up once we get through all the jurisdictional matters and compliance issues, and that would satisfy the use for what we intend to use the site for.
Okay. Any other questions of the applicant by the commission? Okay. We'll take that under advisement. Can I still go to a public hearing, or? Okay. I would like to go to a public hearing to receive any input on the application as it was initially presented.
Yes, sir.
So this is a public hearing. Is there anybody who'd like to speak for or against the proposed application? Okay, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Question? I'm sorry. Maybe I did it too fast. But here's my question. The applicant is asking for time to contemplate the case. I have some concerns with regards to the case, but if we were to deny it, could we give some consideration if he wants to come back that the filing fees could be waived since he's asking for continuance, or would just another set of filing fees and all that need to occur? Or?
You can make a recommendation, but I think only the council can waive the fee.
Okay.
Ask me again, because I want to make sure I've got exactly what you're asking me.
If we were to deny the case.
Deny. We don't have nothing in our ordinance that precludes them from refiling the
Okay.
case.
Okay, and we continue it, then it's just held open to a date specific.
Correct.
Okay, okay. Are there any other questions of the applicant regarding the continuance? Okay. Okay, Ken?
Sir, why this site?
To be very clear, the site is an ideal location in its current light industrial configuration. There's like uses adjacent to the site. There is an existing batch plant. There's existing light industrial use. There's good access within the corridor. We feel that the light industrial use to the west is a proper buffer, helps buffer the apartment complexes. The golf course behind the site it's the driving range, and it's the golf course, it's the driving range. We feel that's buffered. We have the proper air permits through the TCEQ already in place. We've satisfied those requirements. We do that typically so that we can produce that when we come in front of y'all. And again, based off our market study, we're businessmen, we do this for a living. We feel that this location will also service the existing Coppell citizens in the respect that we feel that a little bit of competition to what's next door would allow prices to somewhat be more manageable right now for this corridor. We just think it's a good site for the time. We do a lot of work in some adjacent ISDs, and order us to bring the product up from different locations, it's making it more difficult in the middle of the summer, the colder months, to service those sites, which include ISDs and other entities.
So would you say that's an active batch plant to the west of you?
To the east of me, there's an active batch plant, yes, sir.
That's just, there's only a, like an auto shop repair and like a strip center that's dividing the two between?
So, sir, our site, if you're looking right at it, to the east of, to the west of us is a series of just random, it appears to be equipment and berms and old rusty, I don't know what to describe it. I'm not trying to discredit it. To the east of us, there's a auto repair facility that has several bays.
Right.
To the east of that is a live, wholesome batch plant facility that batches ready-mix concrete.
And that thing's completely operational. I've seen trucks coming out of there all the time. Okay. But you're not a part owner of that plant?
Oh, absolutely not, sir, no.
You would be in competition with that plant?
I would,
if
yes,
this
sir.
were to be approved?
Yes, sir, I would.
Interesting.
Any other questions of the applicant? Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
So to the commission here, pros and cons of a continuation versus just a flat-out denial. I have a concern that this use is not the appropriate and highest and best use for this particular site in light of our comprehensive plan and the vision for what we have as part of an urban neighborhood district. And so I don't know that I could support it now nor in the future, but I'm open to thoughts by the commission if we should continue it or otherwise. Sue?
I'm of the opinion that currently as it's submitted, I probably would not support it, but I'm also of the opinion is let the applicant put his best foot forward.
Okay.
You know, we don't know what he's going to come forward with exactly, so let him put his best foot forward, and then I'm in support of continuance.
Okay. Other thoughts by the commission?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I agree with Sue. I think we should consider this a little bit more detailed, let him tell us what he's thinking about this site and why he thinks it's appropriate. The comp plan is interesting for this area. I mean, it's all industrial right now. And so why is the comp plan designating this as a residential area when it's hard to conceive of a residential area in this space? So I'd like to see what he has to say.
Okay. Sue, Ed, thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason why I was asking the question in terms of what would the new information be? Because I think if ultimately we're going to deny it now or later because of the incongruency to the comp plan, I would probably lean on denying it now. However, I mean, I generally agree with if the applicant wants to come back and represent, even if I think knowing kind of what our perspective and what staff's perspective is, then I think it's a reasonable request, especially if it's 30 days out.
Okay. If I could ask the applicant to come up, you were asking for continuance. I heard 30 days, and then I heard longer.
The very next P and Z meeting
Okay,
that's on the
okay.
agenda, we'd be more than happy to come back
Okay.
and put our best foot forward and present what we
Okay.
have.
Thanks for the insight there. You've convinced me. Let's listen to what they could possibly bring. So, Bob, did I make a boo-boo by closing the public hearing, or if we're going to continue
Make
it?
a motion to reopen it.
Okay.
For the record.
Okay. If there seems to be a general consensus about continuing, I'm going to make a motion that we open this public hearing for the item 6 as presented on our agenda this evening. Is there a second?
I second it, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
Kami, can you call the roll on that? Motion by Haas, second by Commissioner Hafman. I think I heard Hafman. All right.
Please respond by saying aye or nay. So I call your name. Vice Chair Blankenship.
Aye.
Chairman Haas.
Aye.
Commissioner Mauer.
Aye.
Commissioner Hafman.
Aye.
Commissioner Bishop.
Aye.
All approved, none opposed, motion.
Okay, so the public hearing is back on. So I would make a motion to go ahead and continue this case to our next planning. I'm sorry.
I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
I don't wanna interrupt your proceedings. If he wants a limited SUP, in other words, has sunset provision only for 4 years, 5 years, whatever, a limited SUP, that's really kind of a different application, because what he's asked for now is just an SUP. And as you all know, the zoning goes with the land. If it's a sunset provision in there only for 5 years, technically we have to revoke that. We have to go back through this process and revoke it. It just doesn't, by a turn of the calendar, just end.
Okay.
So I don't know if that to me seems a different application. And I don't like us to change applications in the middle of the process. One, the notice is a problem, because we've sent a notice to the citizens what,
Okay.
and now we're kind of changing that. Now, if he'd asked for an SUP for 5 years and you wanted to limit it to 4, that's a different thing. But he's not asked for that, so.
Okay. So that's item 1.
The staff's gonna ask me that question tomorrow, and now what do we do? So,
Okay.
I want to do what you guys want to do,
Okay.
and what they want to do.
Okay. So, Matt, you were going to make
Okay.
a comment?
One other thing is the deadline for applications, the submittal deadline was Wednesday, and so they've missed that deadline. And I'm not confident that they could get us plans in time anyway. So I would ask that they resubmit in January when we take new cases in.
So then, okay.
Are we having a meeting in January?
It's the January submittal for the February
For a February meeting?
P and Z.
So, if I could ask the applicant to come up again. Ed? I'm sorry, Kent?
Matt, to be clear, are you want them to come back with a new application? Is that what you're suggesting?
I'm suggesting if ultimately your motion is for them to come back with a new application, that they not be allowed to submit it until January, which would bring them back to you in February.
But since as a continuance, they could come back next month, or no?
What Bob was saying was this can't be a continuance because they're
It's a
asking
different
for
application.
sunset provision.
Yeah, they're asking for something different. And I don't like to amend it because the notice that we sent out is for them to get full consideration for an SUP. If it's a limited SUP, that's a different notice that staff will present to the surrounding property owners as well as to the public.
So
So
essentially, we're saying deny this case and let them reapply in January.
Okay, Sue?
A quick question, though. Couldn't we vote for the continuance, and if the applicant wanted to pull his item, he can withdraw it before next month and then resubmit based on whatever he would like?
Labor Day.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
That gives him the most options to do whatever he needs to do.
Yes, ma'am.
But that presumes it's the same kind of case.
Yeah.
It's an SUP versus a limited, but that would be in the applicant's court.
Exactly.
Okay.
He would now know what we're gonna talk about this 30 days from now, or you could withdraw it and resubmit in January and talk about the time
Sunset provision.
constraint or some sunset provision is what Ms. Blankenship suggested.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay.
So if, for instance, they were to be able to come back with the changes by, let's say, early next week, does that violate any of the notice guidelines?
Yes, it would, if
Does it-
the application is for a limited SUP, because that's not what was submitted.
Okay.
And then I haven't given the notice correctly to the citizens and to the public in general through the newspaper.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask the applicant, are you proposing to change your application from an SUP to a limited SUP?
I'm confident that we can provide a clear and definitive path on what we're asking. I'd like just for clarification, when we initially applied, we applied for I think it could be construed as indefinite amount of time. I think the comment was however long you would allow us. I'm sorry for butchering that. The in good faith, that's hard for me to come up in front of all you and request that because that's not what our original intent was. I can see I clearly understand what we're talking about. I am prepared to provide a clear and definitive path on where we need to go. So therefore, whatever the P&Z decides at this point, I'm prepared to do either.
So I guess basically, do you want to withdraw and resubmit, or would you rather have a continuance and you submit your materials for the January deadline for the February Planning and Zoning Commission meeting?
I would respectfully request a continuance with the understanding I'm coming back and asking for that time period.
Okay, so does that makes it a limited then? If there's a time period, then he's proposing a change in the SUP. Okay, so I can't allow that.
Okay.
That's the concern, that you've changed
Yeah.
the nature of the application, and we haven't provided notice.
Okay.
So anyone within 200 feet could potentially challenge what you do, and now you're in court, which,
So you're proposing to change your application?
At this point, yes.
Okay.
We want to be good corporate citizens
So-
here, and a clear definitive path is what we want to provide. If that's what needs to be done, then we're prepared to do so.
Okay, so would you then like to withdraw the case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll do that. It's okay to withdraw it?
that's fine.
Okay. All righty,
Thank you.
thank you. Then, so the applicant has requested to withdraw the case and resubmit. And so do we need to motion and approve, or we're good?
Well, as long as you, unless your colleagues don't want to do that, you can consider as chair to accept the withdrawal, they may, and the record will reflect that he withdrew during the public meeting.
Okay. Commission, are we okay with the withdrawal and resubmit?
Yes.
I hear yes, yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. Okay, so then I'll accept that the applicant has withdrawn the case and will resubmit at a later date?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All righty then. Matt, Bob, are we good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, then I'm going to move on to item 7 on the agenda. This is a public hearing to consider approval of Plan Development Number 221, Revision Number 4, Revised Light Industrial, and Industrial Special District Land Use Plan Amendment, a zoning change request from PD-221R4-HC to PD-221R4R-LI to allow for a conceptual plan development of a 439,000 square foot, 689 square feet. Oh my God. All right. 439,689 square foot office and distribution center and land use plan amendment from freeway special district to industrial special district on approximately 25.4 acres located at the southwest corner of Point West Boulevard and Dividend Drive at the request of Jin Song of Natera and being represented by Bobby Pross of Pross Design Group Incorporated. We have a staff presentation by Mr. Matt Steer. Matt?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, this is item number 7 this evening. It is a public hearing, and so I'm going to walk you through a little history here. So in 2006, Duke Realty rezoned 185 acres from agricultural to light industrial and highway commercial. The light industrial land was 112 acres in size and was located north of the proposed Dividend Drive. The highway commercial property was 73 acres and located south of the proposed Dividend Drive. Then Point West bifurcates the property here. In February 2007, the land south of Dividend Drive was put under a planned development highway commercial zoning, allowing for development of retail, office, and hotel uses. And to date, the property to the east of Point West has developed with compatible uses to the plan. The subject vacant property is on the west side of Point West Boulevard. Natera is proposing a facility to house their world headquarters. Natera is a leading creator of beauty, baby care, and personal care products. The new headquarters in Coppell would consolidate 100 employees from the 3 other locations, including Coppell, South Lake, and Alliance. According to the site plan, there are 250 employees that will be at the proposed facility. There's 200 office employees as well as 50 warehouse employees. The building area is proposed to be 439,689 square feet. The southwest elevation of the building faces 635. The enhanced 2-story office entry is on the south corner, and the truck area is facing Point West Boulevard. Therefore, screening is required. So they've got a 14-foot concrete screen wall on the ends of the truck court, and then in the very back, they've got a berm with a hedgerow to screen it from Point West Boulevard. The office component is roughly 45,000 square feet, and the warehouse area is 400,000 square feet. Parking required for office is 1 parking space per 300 square feet, and for warehouse is 1 per 2,000 square feet. 150 parking spaces are required for the office, 198 parking spaces for the warehouse. Therefore, 348 parking spaces are required. They're proposing 368 parking spaces. There are no trees currently on the site. They're proposing 197 overstory trees and sufficient landscape area to meet the requirements of the landscape section of the zoning ordinance. And there are also 2 retention ponds with fountains proposed. The building is 55 feet in height. It's proposed to be site-cast concrete wall panels with tinted gray glass storefront and limestone accent panels. Here's the southwest elevation on the top of the page and the northeast elevation on the bottom. Southeast elevation is included on their color board, shows the materials and colors. And so they are proposing to amend the future land use plan from freeway special district to industrial special district. And I'll read to you what the purpose and the uses within the freeway special district are. So the purpose of the district, or of the land use category, is to provide areas within the community for conventional high-intensity regional commercial uses and office developments dependent upon good transportation access to highway interchanges and frontage roads. These areas are primarily intended for medium to large-scale developments serving travelers and clientele from the region and typically experience high volumes of ingress and egress by auto traffic. The uses within this land use category include hotels, multi-story mid-rise office buildings, medium to large-scale regional commercial uses, restaurants, and other uses dependent upon high volumes of vehicular traffic. So compatible zoning would be highway commercial or a planned development district. They're asking to change this to industrial special district. The purpose of this land use category is to provide areas for employment and light industrial activities typically dependent upon good transportation access to highways, rail lines, and/or airports. Uses within this land use designation include medium to large-scale warehousing, light manufacturing, wholesale storage and distribution, showrooms, office warehouses, research and development, technology centers, and ancillary retail service and restaurant uses that serve the employees within that district. We sent out 6 letters within 200 feet as required by state law. We received 3 letters in favor of this. There were one was in your packet, and I believe I handed out the 2 others from the surrounding property owners and actually the current property owner. And then we also sent out 2 letters as a courtesy within 800 feet, in addition to those within 200 feet. We received 5 additional letters from employees of Natera in favor of the request. So staff is recommending denial of PD 221R4R-LI and Industrial Special District Land Use Plan Amendment. So staff cannot support the change of the property that has already been reduced from 185 acres to 73 acres due to the office warehouse zoning and industrial land use changes. Staff has had several inquiries over the years for converting this property to allow light industrial office warehouse development. And we've consistently cited the 2030 Comprehensive Master Plan calling for freeway special district. So we're recommending denial of the land use and the zoning. If the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission is for approval, staff would like to add the following condition, that there may be additional comments at the time of building permit and detailed engineering review. And if you do recommend approval, they will be required to come back through a detailed plan development process as well. Thank you. That concludes my remarks. I know the applicant's in the audience, and they do have a presentation.
Okay, very good. So quick question for you, Matt. How long has it been since the last potential buyer for this property kicked the tires on this site?
Yeah, we have calls monthly, even weekly, daily. You know, it just depends on the week, I guess.
Gotcha. Okay. Any questions of staff by the commission? Okay. Is the applicant here to present the case? Mr. Pross?
Pross. No, not my son Bobby.
This is Mark Pross.
I'm the CEO of the firm.
Oh, so Mark Pross.
That's me.
Okay.
Yeah, my address is 5310 Harvest Hill Road, Suite 180, Dallas, Texas 75230. And I'm sorry?
Tell me when to click.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to start off by saying that I've had the pleasure of working for Natera for a number of years. I've designed 2 other buildings for them. And our firm specializes in light industrial and office building design. And this is a special project for us. They want to make this their world headquarters. And so we wanted to do everything we could from a design standpoint to show Coppell that we wanted to give them a beautiful building. The other thing I wanted to mention is that as the other projects that have been denied before were primarily speculative office warehouse projects. This is not a speculative project. They already have 2 buildings in Coppell, and they put down roots here, and they want to permanently be in Coppell with their staff, and they need this building to expand. So with that, I would like to call John Song to come up. He has a presentation he'd like to make about his company. And I'll come back later and answer any questions about the architecture when needed.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm John Song. I'm the CEO of Natera International. If we could go to the next slide, please. So Natera is a consumer packaged goods business that focuses on social media. We make brands like Tree Hut and Baby Magic, and we sell to retailers like Walmart, Target, Ulta, Walgreens. We're currently distributed in over 60 countries, and we have our headquarters currently in Coppell, Texas. We're a family-owned business. Alongside me is my father, Jin Song, and my older brother, Peter Song. Peter is the head of BMSC, or Beauty Manufacturing Solutions Corp., which is also headquartered in Coppell, Texas. I want to say that we are very proud residents of Coppell, and we would love to stay here going forward and into the future. Maybe if we could start with a quick video. This represents a recent expansion that we've done in the Fort Worth area, but I thought it would highlight the level of investment that we're willing to make also into the Coppell location as we consolidate 3 sites. We have a site in Coppell, we have a site in Fort Worth, and we have a site in Southlake. But our entire staff and employee base has communicated very strongly a desire to stay within the Coppell area. But this just highlights those capabilities. I hope the sound works. Oh, that's okay. If we just play it a little bit, I can speak to it a bit. But what you see here is the manufacturing facility that we've recently built out in Fort Worth, Texas. That's partnered with our sister company, Beauty Manufacturing Solutions Corporation. And you can see us manufacturing our body scrubs as well as our body washes. We built this facility in partnership with Walmart. There's the mayor of Denton right there. And it's a 400,000 square foot facility that manufactures our products right here in Texas and then distributes worldwide across 60 different countries. That right there is Congresswoman Van Dyne, and we've partnered with her as well as Jared Davis from Walmart to build out this wonderful new facility as part of the U.S.-based manufacturing initiative by our local government.
I think you did a better job than the video.
Thank you, Matt. Now, the audio here just speaks to the fact that we're very proud to be in Texas. We were founded in Texas originally by my father, and we want to stay here for the long term. And then more locally, as we're speaking here today, we'd love to have our worldwide headquarters here in Coppell, Texas, and consolidate all 3 locations in the site that we're speaking about today. We can kind of fast forward through this now. A lot of happy faces. Great. Oh, if you could go back. Here we go. Today, thanks. Thank you. I appreciate your patience. Today, Tree Hut has the #1 body scrub in the world, as well as Baby Magic being a legacy baby care brand that was founded in the United States in the 1950s. And on the back of every single product, what you'll find is that the product originated in Coppell, Texas. And what this headquarters would do is allow us to maintain that label on the back of hundreds of millions of products that are sold every single year, which we feel like is wonderful branding for the city, establishing it as a location for culture, innovation, and R&D. One of my colleagues soon will speak about the economic impact, but effectively, there are about $200 million of real estate assets across those 3 sites that I'd mentioned earlier today. And what this headquarters would do is allow us to consolidate those 3 sites into a single location, as well as add an additional $75 million of real estate, so combining into about $275 million of assets. From an employment standpoint, as mentioned, we have about 100 employees today that will increase to about 250 employees with these headquarters. Those employees are high-paid employees. They have an average annual wage of $98,000, which compares to roughly $68,000 in Coppell today. Each of those employees have, not each, but most of those employees have communicated a strong desire to stay within Coppell. Those employees will contribute to the local economy as well as invite guests from Walmart, Target, Ulta, Walgreens, which come on a weekly basis to help stir the hotel ecosystem to support hotel stays as well as retail purchases and buys. So I'd like to finish with, as mentioned, we are a social media company. A social media video without the music is not quite as cool, but I hope that the visual will give it a good shake. This doesn't have an audio overlay, but effectively, we drive our business with TikTok, Instagram, social media. These are some of our really fun products that we sell at Walmart, Target, and Ulta. It's a very fun, joyful product line, and the team members that built this video, as well as create these online content, is at our facility. They are Gen Z kids. They have the shaved heads, the tattoos. They sit not at their desks, but under their desk while they type and create this content. A really fun group that I think would be a wonderful group to keep in the Coppell City. So thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, good evening. My name is Jared Mahan, and I represent Capital Commercial Investments, the current owner of the tract of land in discussion tonight. The market conditions surrounding this property have substantially changed since it was originally zoned freeway commercial, and our ownership experience reflects that directly. We have held this tract since 2015 and have explored multiple development scenarios across several market cycles. During that time, freeway commercial uses have continued to lose viability at this location. Office demand remains limited and has not supported new speculative development. Retail has shifted heavily towards e-commerce, reducing the feasibility of traditional highway-oriented retail programs. Hotel supply in this corridor is already sufficient, as new products have just hit the market. Natera offers a fundamentally different and highly credible path forward. This is a proposed $275 million owner-occupied headquarter campus by a 102-year-old company with deep roots in Coppell, Texas. The project brings high-quality job creation with projected average salaries of approximately $91,000, lower traffic impact than typical freeway commercial uses such as retail, entertainment, and hospitality, significant long-term tax, revenue, and capital investment for the city of Coppell, and a consolidation of existing operations into a single, efficient, thoughtfully designed corporate campus. This is not a speculative development as discussed. It is a stable, long-term, employer-driven investment from a company that already contributes to Coppell and intends to deepen that commitment. The rezoning request reflects both the economic realities of the site and the extraordinary opportunity presented by Natera, one that aligns with Coppell's priorities for quality development, strong employment, and sustainable value creation. Thank you.
At this time, Dan Gallagher with Kimley Horn can come up and speak to some of the technical aspects of the plan itself. We're both here at your disposal to answer any questions about the design.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Dan Gallagher with Kimley Horn, 2600 North Central Expressway, Richardson, Texas. I don't probably need to take too much time. From an engineering perspective, if you have any questions, traffic related, detention, things of that nature, we're here to answer any questions.
Well, since you asked.
Yeah, I know you, Eddie.
The TIA for the proposed site, there was indication that there's less traffic generated than under current
Traditional
zoning would
retail,
allow.
yeah.
What does that difference look like, and what kind of mitigation would be required under current comp plan vision?
Yeah, well, most of the roads out there, I think, are built to their ultimate section anyway, so it's more than sufficient for this type of use. I don't know that if it were built out under the current comp plan that there'd be much that we can do on those roads regardless. It's more of a total volume perspective. I don't have those specific numbers. We've looked at this previously. I mean, it's generally on the order of magnitude of half to a third compared to more traditional retail or office use when we've looked at that for other sites. This building has a higher office component, which I think is a good thing than most traditional warehouse use. So the traffic for this is maybe slightly higher than a normal warehouse, but I think for this type of tenant, that may be a good thing. It's still much less than, say, retail, hotel, that type of use.
Kent?
Sir, how do the trucks flow in and out of this site? Could you explain that a little bit more carefully, please?
Sure, yeah, and I don't know if we have an aerial, Matt. Yeah, that'd be fine. So you have your main interchange, which is just to the east right there. So that is the primary access. If you're going eastbound or westbound on 635, you're going to want to take that exit. And then you can either go northbound up to not Pinnacle Point, Parkway, yeah. You can either run along the frontage road or go to the interchange further to the north and kind of work your way back in. All the dock positions are going to be on the rear side of the building. So more than likely, yeah, they're going to want to use that Dividend Drive entrance back there, which is a full access median opening. That's where most of the truck access is going to want to come. There's good circulation. They have the ability to then exit, but that's more than likely not where they're going to want to go because that doesn't let you get back onto the highway. So they're most likely going to go back to Dividend, and if you go back to that aerial, Matt, it's kind of the larger interchange that's right of those hotel uses.
And these are primarily 18-wheelers, sir?
Yes, sir. So that's...
Yeah, they're going to go back to Beltline.
So 70% of traffic of trucks are going to go Dividend to Beltline, 20% moving north, then 50% southbound on Beltline to 635.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Any other questions?
Not for,
Not yet.
not right now.
Yes,
Oh,
please don't
Sue,
go anywhere.
Sue.
Oh, sure.
Approximately how many trucks a day is this?
Oh,
Is this
man.
1,000?
Eddie's
Is
got
this
my TIA in front
5,000?
of
Is
me.
this 5?
No, it's...
Asking a question.
Yeah, I should have printed the TIA out hard copy here. If you give me a moment, I can get you that answer.
Wasn't it 50?
I've got it loading right here.
So, trip,
35 a day.
if we could get you to come to the microphone so virtual world can hear.
While the gentleman's coming down, is this a 24/7 facility?
It is not.
What would be the hours of operation?
The office hours are 8 to 5, but the warehouse starts at 6 and ends around 3.
6 to when?
6 to 3, 6 a.m. to 3 p.m.
3 p.m.
And then my name is Peter Song. I'm CEO of BMSC, which also resides here in Coppell. Of the 35 trucks, half would be from our BMSC site, which is right off of Freeport. So if you go to the aerial map there, it's that site right there. So the majority of that, we'll call half of that traffic will come from that site along Dividend back into the court. And then the remainder of the retail traffic, the distribution will then go and could follow the same path as well.
And again, sir, our impression is that this is a distribution site, not a manufacturing site. Is that correct?
That's correct. The
So
manufacturing.
you're moving trucks back and forth. You're bringing products from your, is that a manufacturing plant down there?
That's correct.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, say that again? That's a manufacturing site?
Right there off of Freeport, right across from the AAA
Okay.
building is our manufacturing
Yeah,
plant.
okay. Okay, any questions of this presenter?
I
got
have
a lot of
questions.
us. Yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. Sue, did you? Okay, Kent?
Just out of curiosity, correct me, sir, if I'm inappropriate here, but have you all requested any tax benefits from the city of Coppell for this development?
For this current one?
I guess I've been inappropriate.
It's not part of the zoning. If they have, we'll take that up with the council.
can we not have order of magnitude? Because we're thinking about highest and best use. So we have a vision for this area versus a proposal. Could there not be an order of magnitude that we could, so we understand the
Well, let me
implication of the
suggest to
site?
you that I do not think whether or not they're getting a tax abatement or anything else is our business here tonight.
Just strictly land
Maybe
use.
the appropriate question is, do they generate any sales tax? Because
That was implicit in my question, yes.
Because what the current zoning is for more of a retail that produces, obviously, income from that standpoint to the city. And when I say income, we collect sales tax. So, and hot fund tax. So those uses, that's why this property is, I would assume, by the council's action, been reserved for that use, because it does generate those retail, in addition to their ad valorem tax, they generate that retail tax for the community, and we use, some of that funds are restricted, some have other applications, so.
Okay.
Is there retail?
Gotcha.
Is there a retail component to this, and are you paying sales tax? I think that's related.
Would you be the right presenter to answer that question?
Yeah, John Song over there. I'll tag it over to my brother.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't think they haven't asked for anything.
Yeah, so we are a B2B business, so we sell direct to retailers, but we would not generate specific retail tax like, let's say, a gas station would.
Oh, so this is the what was it? Not the pass-through, the origin destination.
Or, well, yeah.
So it'd be a minimal retail sales tax.
Well,
because
that transaction's not taxed.
Yeah, okay, I see.
So if he was a fulfillment center, for example, that's different. Where he is supplying to a retailer, that's wholesale transfer. Retail tax doesn't apply. But if he's a fulfillment center and sending product directly to the consumer, then
Yeah. Okay.
it would be point of origin. That's what that
Point of origin, that's it.
3.334 lawsuit's all about. So.
And to clarify, we do have a very minimal operations like that, but negligible for this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
So let me ask you, from an overall sales tax, how do you see this site as more beneficial to Coppell than what's currently envisioned under mix of other land uses? That's the property tax.
Yes, sir.
The sales.
From a sales tax perspective,
Yeah.
nominal.
Nominal. Okay. Are there any other presenters, sir? Is he part of the presentation team?
Yes, he is.
Mark? Okay. All right. Yeah, you'll have to come down, please. Yeah, you'll have to come down.
He can't
And we'll
help
need
himself.
name and address for the record.
I am Jin Song, and founder of BMSC and Natera. We moved when we moved our business to Coppell from Flower Mount. The Farmers Ranch. We only had 100 employees. As of today, we have more than 1,000 employees in Coppell. Put the BMSC and Natera together. So this, and then many of our employees in the Coppell residence, they wish to stay in Coppell. Respect to the question about the sales tax, we are indirectly generating a lot of revenue to the local retail shops and hotels or restaurants. All our 1,000 employees gotta eat in shops around the Coppell area. So indirectly, we are impacting or the promoting retail business that will increase Coppell sales taxes. That's my presentation, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Mr. Pross, are there any other presenters as part of the?
I think we're done.
Think we're done. Okay. Are there any questions by the commission of the applicant? Either one or all presenters? Cindy? No? Sue? Kent?
How long have you been in Coppell? Maybe that was mentioned, but how long have you been here now?
11 years.
11 years, all your operations combined? 11 years.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. We may follow up with some more questions. This is a public hearing. Is there anybody who'd like to speak for or against the proposed application? I'm sorry. Yeah, I see a, John, no, these are all the presentation team. If I can get your name and address for the record.
My name's Scott Schwob. I'm a resident of Coppell, 259 Stanton Court. And I'm also a landowner in Coppell, owned 10 acres at the end of Parkway on Canyon Road, and 2 acres of light industrial on Beltline, just east of MacArthur. And I came really to see the process you guys are going through with this requested zoning change, because my property at Canyon is 10 acres that is zoned highway commercial also. And I've owned it probably as long as this gentleman has, roughly 10 years or so, and was just curious what the perspective was from you guys on seeing a zoning request like this. You brought up the sales tax as it seemed to be kind of a big issue, and just from sitting back there watching, it came to me that under the current zoning, if somebody was to build an office building, I don't believe there would be any sales tax generated from that. To the landowner's point, the demand for office buildings and hospitals or even schools, stuff that is permitted under this zoning, have had almost zero calls or interest in the 10 acres that I have at the end of Parkway, which is why, you know, these guys are I think should be considered a possible good use for this site. So that basically just trying to convey that I feel like this is a potentially tax-wise, you get a building on the ground with extensive property taxes for the city, and you maybe don't get the same sales tax. Who knows where that goes down the road with internet sales and other stuff, potential from that. But it's a beautiful building, you know, on a site that's been sitting there a long time, that the demand for those uses as zoned under the comprehensive plan are very limited. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak for or against the proposed application? Okay, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. I'd like to ask staff, Matt, some general questions here. You know, you had mentioned in your presentation that there are inquiries on this site. I don't know if it's regularly or daily or that are occurring, but are the inquiries that we are receiving, are they similar to what's being proposed tonight, or are they more in line with the vision from the comprehensive plan?
No, the inquiries are to change it from what it is today.
Okay.
And we do have a lot of industrial users that we're looking to do a use similar, although they didn't have they were more speculative than what this request is. They've actually got a user in tow, and they are the user. So this is a bit different than the requests that we've been receiving.
And from staff's perspective, pros and cons of the proposed site relative to our comp plan.
the.
Aside from the vision, the
Yeah.
community vision of what that portal is to our community, kind of the gateway, special land uses, but how things have developed from that vision and just generally the pros and cons of the vision versus what's proposed.
Right, well, this does not meet the vision, so it
Okay.
is different. So that's a big con. One of the pros is they are dressing it up from the street frontage, so it appears as though it's not a large distribution center. It appears as though it's a large office building. So they've disguised the warehouse component in the back, but the overall use is not what was envisioned for this property, and so that's why we couldn't support it.
Has any, there was the survey, the Vision 2040. With regards to the 2040 vision that we've already received input on that will ultimately go to fuel the comprehensive plan update, what kind of comments are we seeing with regards to front door type highway commercial activity, those kinds of things?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that vision has detailed, if we've received it all yet or
So
not.
I see Ms. Hurley back there.
So we haven't received all the details for that yet.
Okay. But since she's here, I might ask her to come down. And thank you for being here and all the good work that you've done in the past. So I guess my question generally, and I know that we have a comprehensive plan that's a little dated, but it was rooted in our vision. We're going through that process now. But from your day-to-day experience with prospective applicants, development, where do you see this? I'm not talking about this application, but where do you see the site going? I'm hearing Matt saying there's tire kicking going on, but doesn't quite meet. But what do you, in reality, what are you seeing?
I think the hardest thing in that comment is that it doesn't really matter what staff thinks. It's really what the community and city council has placed as a vision for that site. So that is, it's a difficult thing to answer. Again, they're an existing business in Coppell that we value very much. They have done a good job of dressing up the building, but staff cannot recommend approval because that's city council's decision to overturn and change the vision for that land.
Yeah. So I heard things like less traffic than would otherwise be, under a current vision. I heard hotel supply is already sufficient in the area. Office, the demand is reducing for office in the corridor. But on the other side of things, we don't have much land left to develop. We have the western edge of our community as a lot of the kind of the light industrial, and so this becomes the kind of the focal point of commercial, highway commercial. Are we running deficient in some of, aside from what could come, but what's left and the ability to develop from a highway commercial or what's been envisioned, are we deficient in that perspective?
It depends on who you ask.
Okay, as a citizen, and what's best for the long-term benefit of our community?
Again, that's really tough for staff to say, knowing what the vision is for the land.
Gotcha.
So I hate to not answer your questions, but I think it's difficult for staff to be able to answer in anything that goes against the vision of city council. So, and that's what we've advised. You can ask Jen, Peter, and John. That's what we've advised them, that our recommendation is based on what the vision of the community is, but they've done a very good job tonight giving you the input that you all and council can use to make the decision on whether you think that vision should change for the community. And in terms of the 2040 plan, the revision, that draft has not been given to city council yet, so we don't have that in place to be
But
able
we
to.
have this 2040 survey and input on desires of the community and.
Yes, that has not been.
Okay, it hasn't been
all
reduced.
of that. So we have a resident satisfaction survey that's out there right now, but then that 2040 vision plan has not been, the recommendations from the consultant have not been presented to city council yet.
Hang on a second. Kent, did you have a question?
Okay. Help me with my question. The vision that you speak of is codified, correct?
That's correct. That's in the master plan.
And that is what
yeah.
Matt, rightfully so, is responding to, the vision of the city council, correct?
In the community. So the community
community.
had opportunity for input on the master plan.
How
So-
long ago was that input?
It was 2011 when it was adopted.
Okay, so we're talking about 14 years of change that's been going on here. And is it your impression then, you may not be able to answer this, and I understand the delicacy of your situation, so if you can't answer it, don't. But is it your impression that the city holds the current vision, the codified vision?
We have nothing that says otherwise as of right now.
Here's the thing you're struggling with. Until it's changed, it is what
That's
it
right.
is.
It's not our vision
Now-
until it's changed.
That's why if
Okay.
someone wants to
I'm just
change
asking a
the
practical
vision.
question. It's
Well,
14 years old.
Sure.
The vision as codified. And I just was curious if you had a sense, given all of the input that's been received by the community, if the sentiment of the community remains the same as 14 years ago.
We just don't have that answer
don't
right
know.
now.
Okay.
We won't know until we go through the comp plan revision process, so.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Mhm. Yes, sir.
Thanks, Mindy.
Sure.
Appreciate it. Bob, you were making a comment?
No, that you are imbued with the responsibility to review the comp plan when the comp plan comes before you, when a landowner comes up and asks you to say, I'd like it changed, I own the land. And while the vision is the vision, the owner has the right to ask you to make a recommendation to change it, or not.
And as a PD, it's appropriate for us to consider some of the information as presented and some of the peripheral elements to be
The
contemplated.
landowner and the applicant have asked you to change, to look at making a recommendation to the council to amend the comp plan to accommodate the zoning that they're asking you to review.
Okay.
On both cases. So
Thank
that
you.
it's legally within your
Yeah.
ability to do that.
Thank you for that. Matt, is there anything else you want to
I
add from
think
a
that
staff
was very
perspective?
well articulated. Thank you, Bob.
Okay. All right. So deliberation by the commission here. Yes, feel free.
Right. Matt, I got a question for you. So, how many employees total are going to be in the building?
Well, so what was shown on their site plan was 250. So there's 50 warehouse employees and then the 200 office employees.
Okay.
Is that right?
The 1,000 may be in total.
Yeah, I think that was total.
Okay. Okay, so if this were just office without the distribution, would this comply with the comp plan? The way I read it is that it would.
So, yeah, we'd have to do that analysis. It would cost for a mid-rise office, which typically is 3 or 4 stories. So I think this is only a 2-story
Okay.
office building.
So would you have the same concern if it were only 2 stories? Would your recommendation be the same if that were the only thing that changed is the distribution piece was not part of the request?
We could potentially give a positive recommendation for a two-story office, but that's not what's on the table.
Correct,
you know?
correct.
Yeah, one of the things, the way that the comp plan was packaged, my recollection is they allowed the office, but they wanted mid-rise because it creates more dense foot traffic to support the retail, the hotel.
For sure, yeah, high intensity,
That-
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was the
I get
trade-off.
that. I get that. Okay.
Discussion by the commission.
Well, I'll start,
go
Mr.
ahead.
Chairman.
Yeah, go ahead.
I like this project. I like the fact that they're homegrown. They've been here 11 years. It's their world headquarters. And I think we should support it. The building's beautiful. Comp plan's 14 years old. And I understand what Matt has to do is doing his job. But from a practical perspective, this thing makes a lot of sense. My view.
Cindy?
Yes, I also think it's a wonderful project, and I would like to support it too. I look at the strip mall that's just to the east of this lot that has the Panera and the Yummy Thai in there that was built before COVID, and yet those are still the only two tenants in there. The rest of it's vacant. So it seems like the market for retail has dropped a little. Plus, we're getting that big retail mixed-use hotel development in Victory on the east side. So I don't see, like I think Kent was saying, times have changed, and we don't need that to be that particular use anymore. So I'm in favor of the project and amending the master plan.
Okay. Ed?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I would echo the same sentiments. I think if you look at the length of time the property's been on the market and how things have developed, I think we now have a different perspective than we did, years ago when the comp plan was done. And this is why this body exists to determine land use and to make recommendation for council to actually change the land use. So that is literally our job. And so I think from what we know now, and it's fairly close to the being close to being covered under the current comprehensive plan right now. But I understand it does have distribution, but I think it's a very appropriate change of use, or change of the comp plan and zoning for the project. So I would be in support of it, or am in support of it as well.
Okay. Cindy, thoughts?
I'll go with Sue, but that's okay.
I'm sorry, Sue. Jeez. Yeah. Yes.
That's okay.
Ms. Blankenship.
No problem. I would like to echo my fellow commissioners' thoughts on this particular project. You guys are a great company, as the word's used, homegrown. We loved, and you guys have made a very, very sincere attempt and successful attempt at designing a building that looks good on our front door, that feels like it's an office building, and with the warehouse in the back. So I would be in support of this.
Okay. Thank you, Sue. Got it right that time. So I'm wrestling between a very good application and the vision as established by our residents in Coppell 2030. Now, yes, it's a little dated, and we're getting ready to go through an update here in a year or so. But the sentiment was that this was a front door, if you will, to our community. Now, Cindy hit it on the nail on the head there about some of the retail that's really hasn't quite panned out, probably because there's not other elements in there, but is really one of the only few pieces left on a major quadrant of interstate highway and a regional facility. I got to believe that maybe there might be something else there, although this is a very good product, very good product. So I'm on the fence on this, but I do believe as a PD we should be considering all these things. I mean, this is why we're here and why we're contemplating the different viewpoints, but I don't know whether I could say yay or nay, but in the end, I kind of feel like we might land in a good place either way. But I'm a little focused on that the quadrant there is the kind of a last remaining piece. Although I see the aerial image and I see manufacturing, distribution, really all around it, and so the only component in my mind as a question would be the distribution piece, which is small. Well, not small, but a smaller piece of this bigger application. So I could see it either way, quite honestly. So.
Might I point out that the adjacency to the additional industrial that's around it, and this being kind of a half office, a partial office and partial industrial, kind of is a good transition between the highway and the industrial.
Yeah, potentially, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing, what you bring up is a good point in terms of, the kind of doorstep to Coppell. I think, when I look at this, as the track was developed, I think that became less and less of a possibility. Now you're left with the back half of the property, when I would be really surprised if we would get an application for what is in the comp plan for that property being solely because of the access. It has great visibility, but the access is for those uses would not be good, or potentially could not be good. And so I think for a bigger piece of the property, it made sense as it was developed and as it stands today. I think I see your point in terms of that would be great to have that if they were consistent. But I think as it stands now and and how it developed, I think there's just less of a chance that would actually happen. Yeah. And the proposal at hand, in my mind, is if we wanted an alternative, I think this is a very appropriate alternative at this point.
Yeah, that's a great point. When it was an undeveloped quadrant, that offered a lot of opportunity, but as I see the parcels that have developed, yes, there's some level of integration, but there's a lot of individualness to it. I see the hotel sites, and is it fully integrated like what was maybe once envisioned? Maybe not. So maybe as, like you say, the back end of the lot, if you will, the west end of the lot, maybe it's the prime for something else.
Yeah, if it were all one contiguous development, then I could see it would, but it really hasn't developed that way, and it'd be hard to see it, developing that way in the future.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I'd also like to point out that, we've approved quite a few hotels recently. Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, but, and I totally want to be corrected if I am wrong, but my goodness, to see more hotels even at that spot just doesn't seem like the right thing to do. So I'd like to make a motion.
I got one more question.
Yes, sir.
Since I'm in the business of making people come up and do exercise, I'd like to ask our newest traffic engineer, Cole. I have a question for you, Cole. Newly ordained PE. Have you had a chance to review the TIA?
Yes.
Okay. As a traffic engineer, from your perspective, are there any concerns of the proposed site as presented?
There weren't any concerns from looking at it. We're going to look at the details of how it all works during a detailed engineering review if it does move forward. But
does truck traffic cause any concern? The amount of truck traffic from the proposed site?
it is a truck generating use, but it's not an incredible number of trucks, especially during the peak hours.
Yeah. And then the orientations, the trip orientations as presented, you felt that was in line with where the site's located and accessibility?
Yeah, it didn't seem to have any concerns.
Okay. Thank you for that. Any questions of our traffic engineer? All right. Thank you, Cole.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, Bob?
If we do want to consider, again, if the motion would be to make a recommendation to change the comp plan and to approve the zoning, and I would ask that if you do that, that you add to the conditions that the detail, I know the ordinance says it, but that a detailed site plan would have to be presented and approved by P&Z and council. Thank you.
Okay. So I would, the chair would entertain a motion if there's a motion from the commission.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'll move to approve Plan Development 221 Revision 4 Revised Light Industrial and Industrial Special District Land Use Plan Amendment, zoning request from PD 221 R4 Highway Commercial to PD 222 R4R Light Industrial to allow for the conceptual plan development of a square office and distribution center and land use amendment.
Okay.
Subject to staff conditions and including that the requirement to submit a detailed site plan for approval by P&Z and City Council.
Okay, very good. We have a motion by Commissioner Maurer. Is there a second?
I second it.
Second, Commissioner Hafman. Cammie, would you call the roll?
Please respond by saying aye or ayes. I call your name. Vice Chair Blankenship.
Aye.
Chairman Haas.
Aye.
Commissioner Maurer.
Aye.
Commissioner Haveman.
Aye.
And Commissioner Bishop.
Aye.
All approved, none opposed, motion carries.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Thank you. So this was a toughie, and but I do believe in the end this might be a great opportunity for Coppell and to our current business and the continuation and growth of that business. So thank you very much for everything there.
Thank you very much.
Okay, item 8 on the agenda this evening is update on city council actions. Our items from the last council meeting, Matt covered those in our pre-session. Item 9 is adjournment. If there's any other comments or action by our commission, I'm going to go ahead and adjourn the meeting. The time is 7:58.